Okay, so today's opener is just a review of what we've done so far. So the first part says graph using slope-intercept form. What is the equation that we follow for slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. So if it's y equals mx plus b, what am I going to graph first or find first on my coordinate plane? Negative 3, which represents my b, which stands for my y-intercept. And so we're going to look, here's our y-axis. Here's our x-axis. So where would I graph negative 3?
Down on the y-axis.
So I start at the origin, I go down 3 on the y-axis, and plot my point. From there, I then find what?
2x. Go up 2 and over 1.
Which refers to our,
Rather than
which is our,
mx plus b.
you're right,
Slope.
slope, yeah. So I need more than 2 points though, so I need one more point. So how can I get my third point? There's
Go
two.
down and over 1.
So I could start at my original y-intercept and go down 2 and left 1, or I could just keep going up 2 over 1. And then we're going to plot our
I
line.
messed up.
You messed up?
Yep. I messed up.
You something out of a pen.
What?
Yeah, I'll get you another one. What kind of slope does this line have?
What?
Positive.
I don't
Positive.
care what you don't like.
So it's a positive slope. Okay,
Really don't.
let's look at the next one. So the next says, solve each system by graphing. So if we're going to graph these, what form do they need to be in first?
Y equals
Mx plus b. So slope-intercept form. So they need to be in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So neither one of these equations have the y by itself, does it?
Nope.
No. So I'm going to have to work to get the y by itself. So my first one, I have x minus y equals 3. So how do I get the y by itself? What is it called? What am I going to have to do?
Substitute.
Not substitute. I'm going to have to solve for y, which means I have to get rid of. How do I do that?
Add.
No. If I add x, I'll have 2x
Oh.
minus x. And remember, whatever I do to one side of the line of equality, I do to the other. So on the left, my x's cancel, and I have negative y equals, then on my right, 3 minus x. Those are not like terms. I cannot combine them. So what do I do with that information?
Put them all down.
I just put them on down. So I always start with my variable first, so I have negative x plus 3. Okay? My y is still not by itself. So what do I need to continue to do to get the y by itself?
Divide by -1.
Divide by -1, that's right. So then y is going to equal negative x divided by -1 will be,
X. Negative x.
Minus 3.
it'll be negative or positive x?
Positive.
Positive x. And then Chance, you said? Good. Okay. So let's go ahead and graph this, and then we'll go to our second equation. Okay, so what is my y-intercept? Negative 3, so I'm going to go down 3 from the origin, just like the last problem. And then what is my slope going to be? Say again? 1 over 1. So up 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And then I'm going to graph my line. Hopefully it's a good line. It's not the best. We're going to try one more time.
Why don't you just use a ruler on that?
There isn't a ruler on here.
Why don't you just hold up a ruler and then get one of those pens that you can write with on the tablet?
But she doesn't like the pins.
I don't like the pins, but when I get my Surface Pro up and working, I'm hoping that,
Oh, I keep forgetting to bring that to school.
well, they can't get it to connect to the system.
Wi-Fi?
The Wi-Fi, to, like they're trying to do it in Miss Mallett's room too, and it's just,
If you get the Wi-Fi, let me know, because then I can bring my Surface here. Okay.
and then we can have Surface Pro Wars.
Yes.
What is
It's so much fun. Okay, so we did our first equation. Now we need to get our second equation into slope-intercept form. So my second equation, I have x minus 2y equals 4. Now, slope-intercept form, which variable is all by itself? Slope-intercept form. Which variable is all by itself on the left side of the equal sign? Sorry, I didn't ask a very good question.
I thought you were asking like.
Yeah, you're right. So what am I trying to get by itself on my left side of my equal sign?
Y.
Y. So what do I have to get rid of here?
Plus 2.
Nah, not yet.
Oh,
X, how do I get rid of that X?
minus X.
Okay, so now I have negative 2y equals what?
Negative X plus 4.
Okay, the y is still not by itself, so the next step is to,
Divided by negative 2.
so then it's going to be y equals what here?
2x.
No, because remember, if I have a variable, what's up in front of that variable?
Negative.
A 1. So negative 1 divided by negative 2, I can't, that's just going to, it's going to be 0.5, right? Because it's in slope-intercept form, rise over run, I'm going to keep it as a fraction. Can I reduce 1 over 2? No, so I'm going to leave it as half. 2 negatives equal a, so it's going to be a positive half, don't forget my x, and then I'm going to look at positive 4 divided by negative 2. Negative 2. So when I go to graph this, what's going to be my y-intercept?
Go down a half. Plus up a half.
No. What's my y-intercept? Maddie, it looks like you knew.
Go down to
Yeah, go down 2.
up 1 over 2.
And then my slope is what?
Up 1
An over.
2.
Oh, right there it shows us where it intersects. So I don't really need that third line, do I? Well, maybe I'll go ahead and put that third plot. So if I go down 1 over 2, and then I'm going to graph my line. See, so all I have is a straight line that I have to try to plot it in, and it doesn't always line up how I want it to. No, it's not bad.
You know you can use
Okay.
the Surface Pro pen on that. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe I will.
Oh, that'll
Maybe I'll give it a shot today. You guys all seem very adamant that I need to use it, so I'll try it. Okay, so I'm not done yet though. I know where they intercept, but now I have to write my answer as an ordered pair. So remember, my ordered pair is going to be an x and a y. Doesn't work, Josh.
That's not even. I don't even
It's
have
not
that.
gonna work on a tablet.
Is it only designed for?
That's not
I've
even
never
set.
used the Surface Pro
Be a,
before.
rubber.
I don't have one of those.
Your pen's different than mine, so.
Okay, we tried. Okay, so what's my x value for my ordered pair here? My x value.
Down one.
No. So I start at my origin. And my x-axis, remember, goes left to right. So which direction am I going to go? Right. How many spots?
2.
And then my y is going to be
Down 1.
down 1, which is, somebody said it, a negative 1. So that's how we solve systems of equations by graphing. You have to look at the equation, you have to get them into slope-intercept form, you graph it, and then you determine where those two lines intersect. That is your solution. Okay, now the back side carried us still, the first problem is still going to be a solution to the system using graphing. Now, what I'm given here is the ordered pair. So they want us to determine if this ordered pair will be a solution to this system. So what I have to do, if you remember correctly, well, actually, can you guys tell me what I have to do to find out if this is the solution? Substitute. Do I only have to see if it works for the top? Yeah, I got to see if it works for both. Okay, so what do I substitute for my x? What do I substitute for my x?
2.
Okay, so 9 times 2 equals 10 minus 4. What do I substitute for y?
Negative 2.
Okay, now I just simplify to see if both sides equal. So 9 times 2? What's 9 times 2?
Or 18.
Okay, on my right side, now I don't have a variable, so I'm not solving for anything, okay? I'm just seeing if each side of that equal sign is equal. All right, what do I do on my right side?
Bring down 10, right?
Okay, so I can bring down my 10,
And then do negative 4 times negative 2.
which equals,
Positive 8.
okay? And then I take 10 plus 8, which equals, so my first one checks out, my first one works. So now let's see if my second equation works. Okay? So I look at y equals 3x minus 8. What do I substitute for y?
-2.
So I have -2 equals,
3 and then fill in for 2.
good, so substitute. Nice, okay? So then I have what? My left side is just -2. My right side, 6 minus 8. What's 6 minus 8?
-2.
So, is this order pair a solution?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
sure is.
never mind.
Okay. Now,
Oh, that's a bad square.
it's all right. You okay, Ben?
Yep.
Yep. This is your absolute favorite lesson we have done up to this point. This one right here. It's your favorite, right? So, solve by using substitution.
I hate this thing with a burning passion.
So, I hate it with a burning passion. So, when we solve with substitution, what am I going to first look for in my system?
A variable by itself.
All by itself, right? Do I have that?
No.
No. So I'm going to have to use one of these equations to get the variable all by itself on one side of the equal sign. I might have this variable by itself,
That's what I'm-
but it's not totally by itself on the equal sign, is it?
Yeah,
It has a 4x with it. So which equation do you guys want to work with to get the variable all by itself on one side of the equal sign?
Top.
It really doesn't matter. I would do the bottom so you don't have a fraction.
Oh, look at that.
I would do the bottom because it's easier to work with a variable that doesn't have a coefficient in front of it. So we're going to do 4x plus y equals 5. So which variable am I solving for? What's the variable I'm trying to get by itself?
Why?
Y. So I'm going to circle that y and get rid of everything else that's not with that y. So what do I get rid of first?
-4x.
So when I go to rewrite this, it's going to be y equals,
-4x plus 5.
okay. Now, what do I do with this? Substitute it into which equation? The top one. So when I go to substitute for the top, which variable am I substituting for?
X.
Nah,
Y.
y. See right here, y equals. So I'm going to put 2. Oh, there's my y. So what do I substitute for y? What did we say y equals?
-4x plus 5.
And we put that in parentheses. What's the rest of my equation?
Equals -3x.
Okay. So now we solve. Distribute first. So I get,
Oh.
anybody can answer.
X plus
-8
Negative
plus 10.
Okay.
And then you combine. No. Yeah.
Okay.
Plus 10.
But there's no combining.
No, there's no combining.
Pick up my little number.
Okay.
So you
Yeah, but if you pick up a
No,
little
you
number, it's
minus
nothing on the
10.
side then.
Does it truly 110% matter which side your variable is on?
So Josh.
No.
No.
don't you
Now, go ahead with your thought.
don't you minus 10?
Okay, so you could solve this in multiple ways. You could move this 10 here, then move this here, and then solve. But is there an easier way or a shorter way to do this, Ben?
Or just like say, pick up a little number at -8, plus on that side, get +5, divide.
Hold up, give me a minute. So then I have 10 equals 5x. Okay?
5 by 5 on both sides. X equals 2, and then you plot the variable.
Yeah.
Equal
That,
11.
so x equals 2. Okay, so if I have x equals 2, so x equals 2, there we go. Now that I know the value of x, I'm able to find the value of what?
Why?
Okay, so again, I'm going to have to substitute. Chance, put your head up, please. So again, I'm going to have to substitute. Which equation do you want to substitute for? First, second, or third?
Third.
Third, okay. So we're going to have y equals -4x plus 5. Okay, what do I know the value of?
2. Why?
X. What do I substitute for X?
2.
Okay. Ben, head up, please.
Okay.
So what's my final answer going to be?
I have a
So negative 4 times 2 is?
-3.
Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Then negative 8 plus 5 is? So the solution by substitution is going to be what?
2 -3.
2, comma, negative 3, written as an ordered pair and boxed.